Masha.
Call all y'all by Shib Yahushua. All right, Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wachahak Warash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akib teaching about the Mayam Wa'amat. That's in sincerity and truth. It's Great Millstone Dallas and Great Millstone Atlanta. The Lord allowed us another opportunity to get a lesson in. So we're going to continue with the series of Second Esdras, chapter 15. I believe last lesson we left off at verse 41. So without further ado, if you want to just get in straight to it, or if you got something to say before you do, go
Yeah,
ahead, brother.
kind of. I'll just say real quick. When it comes to this chapter, by and large, it's a prophetic chapter that we go into, um, often, and we're living in a time of prophecy, man. So, we're gonna see these prophecies come to pass for the return of Yahweh Shai, and this is ultimately is the scene that this chapter is setting is the scene of World War III. Okay, which is coming is right around the corner. All right. So where we left off was right in the middle of a very destructive uh prophecy here, going into the ICBM missiles. All right, and intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right. So this is nuclear warfare that is being mentioned when you read verses like verse 40, verse 41. Okay, which we'll go ahead and you know, read verse 41 again. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 41. Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And we read Joel, the second chapter, to kind of help paint the picture, all right, of that the effects of that horrible star, which is going to be again those nuclear missiles. Okay, and so those hail and fire and hail and flying swords. Okay, where else do you see that terminology being used? When you type in fire and hail, let's look it up. Right, fire and hail. Um, let's see what comes up. All right. Uh, okay, this is what I was looking for here. Okay, which by the way, in these other searches, it talks about hail mingled with fire. Okay, amongst the plagues, those are some of the plagues that were in Egypt. By the way, just to throw it out there, it was hail and fire. It says hail and fire mingled with hail, um, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. So the Lord is capable of, you know, bringing it from the heavens on His own. But the Lord is going to use these other nations to destroy themselves. So that fire and hail in these times, okay, is going to be the ICBM missiles, man. All right, and when you read Revelation the 8th chapter, which this is a short chapter, again, it pretty much goes into the time when the Lord is going to come back. Okay, and before that is going to be all hell breaking loose. We read about this in Revelation the 13th chapter. Okay, and so when you read in this chapter, like the angels preparing themselves to sound and all those things, that's the preparation for the return of the Lord. Okay, but I'm going to read this verse here in Revelation 8 and 7. It says, the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. All right. So what's the hail and fire mingled with blood? The ICBM missiles. Okay, being cast upon the earth. All right. It says, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. All right, because remember Esau has the fatness of the earth right now. You know, and the third part of trees represent men. The third part is the sons of the wicked. Ultimately, is going to be Esau, represents Esau being burnt up, okay, by the ICBM missiles. So if you don't know what we're saying when we say, I don't know what this bullshit is. When we say, oh, it must be some basketball. Uh, ICBM well, really the acronym, the word, the last letter is stands for missile, so it's really ICBM. Okay, and this the definition here: an intercontinental ballistic missile is a guided ballistic missile with a range exceeding uh 3,400 miles, so that can cross countries. Okay, it says exceeding that range. Okay, that's why it's called like intercontinental, meaning like it can go from from one continent to another. All right, it says primarily designed to deliver nuclear warheads. Okay, operating at extreme speeds, and ICBM follows a parabolic trajectory. All right, look this stuff up. Okay, a parabolic trajectory. That's that Revelation 6, which we're going to get again. That arc, the path of impact that it takes, as it goes up and kind of like the form of an arc and then comes back down. It says, and can strike targets across the globe within 30 minutes of launch. Okay. So these things, it shows the speed here, can reach 17,000 miles an hour, like crazy stuff. Okay. And so again, the Lord is going to use this because this is existing technology. Okay. I'm a visual guy. The first ICBM was first launched in 1957. All right, so this technology is nothing new. It's been around. All right, but the Lord is going to use it. So you can see the missile, the bottom, and the warhead at the top there. The Lord is going to use it to destroy the nations really the Lord is going to allow these nations to use it against each other to destroy each other. All right, so that's the point there. Let's
Also,
go back to
you can see why Esau's so proud. You know what I'm saying? From the time, bro, from horse and buggy to ICBMs
right.
in what 200 years?
Yeah.
You can see why he's so proud. But hey, the Lord got him in the trick bag. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says all the fields are going to be full. All right. And all the rivers with the abundance of great water. So it's going to be a bunch of dead bodies. All right. I think we quoted it last time. The blood shall come up to the horse's girdle. All right. If you look up World War II, I know we're still in the first verse of the chapter, but it is what it is. If you look up World War II, what was it? World War II body corpse. What is it like?
Body count.
Corpse piles. No. Like the actual, like when they would pile, uh, uh, they would pile the dead bodies on each other. Some bullshit, man. Um, I wonder if they'll let me a pile of corpses. Let's see. Oh, they're gonna show a concentration camp. But anyway, it's okay. Hopefully, it's not too graphic. I don't want YouTube to take it down. You know what I mean? YouTube be on some BS sometimes. This is on Google, so okay, yeah, it's got the eyes. So yeah, look it up, man. You know what I mean? Bodies on top of bodies, man. You know what I mean? That was in World War II. So imagine, and this is talking about when you look it up, it's gonna first talk about like, probably like Auschwitz and stuff. But I'm talking about soldiers. I'm not talking about civilians, even though civilians are gonna get jacked up too, of course. All right, but soldiers, man. Okay. Piles and piles of bodies is gonna be stacked up. Okay. All right, so let's go here. Again, Second Ezra 15 and verse 42. It says, "And they shall break down the cities and walls and mountains, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows and their corn." All right, so multiple cities are going to get hit, multiple countries, and it's gonna be hardcore, man. All right, it's gonna be hardcore. Remember, the Lord's gonna use these missiles ultimately to completely destroy Babylon. Um, all right, so imagine that. Okay, all of these WalMarts and out here in Atlanta, you got Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A's. All right, they're all gonna be torn down, destroyed. Okay. Um, it says, "And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid." Okay, so again, of course, that includes America. Other places are going to get hit. Other countries are going to get hit, but that includes Babylon too. All right, don't forget. We talk about it all the time. Uh, the the troops, man. All right, martial law is going to be implemented, but then you also got what is that in Jeremiah? Gotta get this real quick. Gotta get this real quick. Jeremiah 50, is it 50, 51? Okay. The breakdown on this is a precept to it, and then we'll get right back. All right. This is Jeremiah 51 and 1. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, behold, I will rise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise against me. Because the Lord is bringing this judgment because of the wickedness of this place, man. All right, this is the borders of wickedness. Okay, talking about America. All right, it says he's going to bring up what? A destroying wind. Okay, remember that besom of destruction. Okay, is going into that same concept, the destroying wind. All right, which is the nuclear wind.
Mhm.
Okay, the nuclear wind. And if you don't know what that is, uh, Google uh, atomic bomb test footage. Okay, and see how that heat wave comes first, instantaneous combustion, and then as soon as that shock wave comes through, it obliterates whatever is in its path. Okay, that's that destroying wind. Okay, it says, and will send unto Babylon fanners, all right, that shall fan her. All right, now when you look up this word fanners, and this is the precept, um, let me look this word up real quick for fanners. All right, it says zawar, which really the word is zarium. Okay, so the plural version of zawar. So what does zawar mean? All right, what is a zawar, or what does zawar mean? When it's used as a verb, it means a stranger. Uh, I think this is actually should be labeled as a noun, but it says a stranger. Um, okay, a stranger. You see a stranger or a foreigner, and specifically an enemy foreigner. Okay. Um, so yeah, so like basically like an enemy foreigner. Okay. So again, foreign troops. Remember, Babylon the Great is it's an untouched nation. I wonder if it has anything else here. Remember, it's the virgin daughter of Babylon, so it's untouched, but it's gonna get touched. All right, in these times to come. Yeah, Exodus. Let me see if it mentions it. Mori and Jeremiah. It might not. I want to see. Sometimes a lot of times it'd be having some bangers buried in here, so I'd be like, I like to look sometimes. Hosea, Ezekiel, uh, Proverbs, Kings. Okay, yeah, I don't see an entry for the scripture we're reading, but yeah, so that's the breakdown on that. So going back here, Second Ezra 15. All right, and 44 says they shall come to her and besiege her. All right. And then it says the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Okay. So the missiles, again, they're going to be shot over here as well. Okay. It says, then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and they that be about her, excuse me, all they that be about her shall bewail her. Okay. So what's that smoke going up into heaven? I don't know. Did we read Revelation 6 last time, Zaquan?
I
Um,
don't know.
yeah, I can't remember either, but
That do take you to that revelation to go
hmm
into explaining that. You know what I'm saying? And you notice ain't no other Israelite groups going into this topic. They are allergic to prophecy, but they want to
yeah,
be
I
what they
mean,
call themselves prophets. You know what I'm saying? But the
that's
Lord
right.
talk about prophets and false prophets. So they are prophets, they just false. They don't tell you what's coming. They don't tell you what to look for. They tell you what they got going without saying Lord willing.
Con.
You got it.
Yep. It says verse 14, Revelation 16 to 14. It says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. Okay, see, we done went over these scriptures so much, these prophetic scriptures like this, so many times it seems normal to us, but really this is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be, as the scriptures say, how shall gonna come as a thief in the night? Okay, so you want to be found watching. Matter of fact, I'll get that real quick. You know, blessed is he who shall be found
Yeah,
watching when he
why they
returns.
talking about what it ain't? They finna get to see what it is, and the prophet's been telling you what it is, because we don't want the blood on our hands. You know, the last thing you want to do is not pay attention to prophecy, so you end up making a fucked up decision. You know, that taking the MOTB is going to be a fucked up decision, and this destruction is coming to those people that take it. In Revelation 14, it tell you the doom for the worshipers of the beast, right? It tell you that they're going to be hit with this fire that we speaking of. You know, you got it.
Right. This is Luke 12 and 37. It says, blessed are those servants whom the Lord, well, you know, hold on, let me see. Yeah, no, this is it. This is the point. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Okay, verily, verily, I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make him to sit down to meat, and will come forth.
As I said, this is
And
what this is why watch as well as pray matters. You know what I'm saying? Watch for what's coming and to pray the Lord deliver you. Everybody on the planet don't have that luxury. You know what I'm saying? To know what's coming and to pray to the Heavenly Father to protect us in those times. You see? But just like yesterday, me and Elder Kazak was talking about, look, when it comes to prophecy, you got to get it right. Go
that's
ahead.
right. Um, yeah, I mean that was the point right there. Shall when he cometh shall find watching. Blessed are those servants. And then it says again, verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself, okay, and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. Okay, and it says, and if he shall come in the second watch or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. Okay, so again, Yahushua, he's going to come. All right, we don't know exactly the exact day and hour. You know what I mean? We can only look at the signs that's going on in the world. All right, which he told us was going to happen beforehand. Right, and that's how we know that we're close. Okay, but when he does come, all right, Yahushua gonna be amongst us. Okay, and he could come again. The second watch represents, you had the first watch, second watch, third watch of the night. And I think you had a fourth watch right before the sunrise that ended right before the sunrise. So the night was divided up into watches. So that way, the city overnight will be protected by men who are, you know, uh, you know, basically well rested, but they rotate. They rotate out every couple hours. So you don't know what watch the enemy is going to come. It could come. The enemy could come at 11 p.m. The enemy could come at 3 a.m. in the morning, right? Just for you know, layman's terms. But going back here, all right, um, to Second Ezra 15. All right, it says we already broke that down. Oh, Revelation 6. All right, going into that dust and smoke. I'll just quote it, um, or give the precept, I should say. Where was it at? Which tab was it? Revelation 6 and 14. All right, you can read that verse. All right, where it says the heavens departed as a scroll. That's the precept to this verse here. Verse 45, it says, and they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. Okay, so whoever jacks America up, those territories and allies of America, they're going to be shook up as well. Because America, obviously, they have a lot of different you know partnerships and stuff like embassies in different countries. That's why you know um, the UAE and um, Saudi Arabia, these different countries in the Middle East, yeah, they got hit, but Iran was attacking the military bases in those countries.
Yep.
Qatar.
What's that? Revelation 17 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
17 or 18 talk about them seeing the smoke and them seeing the destruction of Babylon and being
Yep.
all messed up by it. You know what I'm saying? Because of
Con.
the deals and the trades and all those things. You know,
That's right.
you got it.
That's right. Yeah. That's Revelation 18. Exactly. All right. So it says verse 47. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped verse 46. It says, "And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person." See, this is the part that if you don't know, and I mean, I'm no elder Ariala when it comes to geopolitics, but you have to understand that just because a country makes economic deals, right, with one another, or two countries make economic deals between each other, doesn't mean that they can't be, um, still opposing each other militarily. All right, a great example of that is China. China, with the United States, sometimes if you don't really know what's going on, you might think that China's our enemy, and the other times, you see Trump going over there to China, and you're like, okay, is China our ally? Okay, it's because China, which is Moab, all right, basically is the second largest economy in the world, so it can't be uh, you know denied that doing trade with these large countries is beneficial. Okay.
That's just like
Uh,
I would say that's just like what's that Psalms 83 when they give you the list of nations. You know what I'm saying? All those
mhm,
made a covenant with each other to get rid of Israel, but they still each other's enemies. Look how Edom and Moab is always tied together, but both
right.
sides wish each other would. You know what I'm saying? They stay flexing on each other, talking about what they can do to each other if shit goes south.
Yeah, they always talking smack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why when you go uh, to Second Ezra 16, it says the same thing. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. All right, because these are the two biggest you know, economies in the earth, and they've combined forces really, even though they want you to think that they're just enemies and they would never, yeah, they do strategic stuff to try to, get advantages over one another, but really they're, they still do business, heavy business with each other. All right. China makes sure that they try to diversify, but they still are a major exporter. And guess what? China's the biggest exporter in the world, and America is the largest importer. So you already know that that's going to lead to some deals being done. Okay. How much stuff did we see in the past, as 20, 30 years, made in China, made in China. Everything seemed like it was dang on made in China. So they're doing business with each other. Okay. And
Hell
so
yeah, I
when
would
you
say
understand,
that's the American flag say made in China.
yeah, your shoes made in China, but you think that China is just they will never team up. They would never America would never do any business with China.
Yeah, right.
China. How you think the the Wuhan virus got over here? Because these niggas be flying over here, and vice
Man,
versa. Right. Anyway, uh, what verse I stopped at? Lost my place.
46. You just read 46.
Okay. Okay, the water. Because I think I had a precept I wanted to get. What was that? I'll get it next verse. Um, all right. It says verse 47. Oh, verse 46, excuse me. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch. Okay. It says, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. All right. And that's the point I wanted to get, or precept, I should say, because we've been quoting it all the whole time, but we're gonna get it. Revelation 18. Okay. Um, specifically right here in verse 3. All right. Revelation 18 and 3. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. And a big example of that is China, man. All right. Matter of fact, let's Google this. Okay. Has China Adopted. That's why he
No.
said
Hell no.
that. That's funny. Western culture, culture, and uh, mindset. That's funny. Hold on. Oh, oh snap! Okay, you saw I blocked it. They started to do the AI thing, and then and now let's see this devil. He's getting he's getting smart, man. Like certain truth things. Well, hold on. Let me see. Does it let me do it here?
Shit, is it McDonald's in China?
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. I don't know why they started to pull it up and then went
Yeah,
away.
them all got Burger King and all that shit over there.
Okay. Here we go. All right. I said, has China adopted Western culture and mindset? It says China has adapted many aspects of Western material culture, consumerism, and technology. Because again, technology is what these system is all about. Okay, so best believe when it comes to the MOTB, yeah, MOAB is going to be partaking in MOTB as well. All right. And so it says, but tries to balance it out. But we already got the answer. It says it has strictly rejected Western political mindset, of course, because they're not, the democracy, how they vote for presidents. Yeah, they don't have that. Um, and all the liberal stuff. It's
Yeah, but
not.
they'll eat,
It's not like that.
they'll eat a Big Mac with chopsticks. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean. You got, what's it called? Little, what's it called? When they have like the zones of a bunch of Asians in here, over here in the States. Is it Little China or some shit like that?
Oh, Chinatown.
Chinatown and all that stuff. And then over there, when you go over there, Japan and other, they got the culture. Really, Japan too. You know what I mean? Oh, the
Mm-hmm.
prime minister of Japan, I guess, is a female. She was just over there in the White House a couple months ago. Rubbing shoulders with Trump. You know what I mean? Basically pandering to Trump because they're getting smacked by or at least they were. I don't know. Update this month by those by the Strait of Hormuz being closed. You know what I mean? They were getting smacked. So anyway, yeah, you can see. Oh, you that's the spirits, Aquan. You mentioned McDonald's, and they actually brought it in the definition and in the answer. You know what I mean? Right? It says modern urban life in major Chinese hubs looks remarkably similar to the West. Fast food chains like McDonald's, you can't make this shit up. High-end European luxury brands, Western style corporate workplaces, consumer and digital consumer habits are deeply embedded in daily life. Okay, so if it's gotten so far deep as to permeating the lifestyle of the average worker, okay, of course that started from up top, all right, from their leadership. So going back here to the scripture, all right, not this one, Revelation 8:18-3, all right, when it says that all nations are drunk of the wine, the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, this is what it's talking about. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
specifically,
They used to have an old saying back when I was a kid. Old folks would tell you if you sit in shit, you start to smell like it. So all the judgments that's coming upon Babylon is coming upon Moab and all those countries coming up against the Heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? So you drunk the wine of the wrath of that fornication. You fell hook, line, and sinker for what the Lord had going for you. You know, Edom, Moab, Ham, all these different nations. You see, the Lord put the spirit on Esau to trick every fucking body for his own reasons. You know, you got it.
That's right. All right. It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right. So who's the her? America, Babylon the Great. And who's the nation, the merchants of the earth? Well, who has the largest export is China. Okay. And then you have, other countries as well. You know what I mean? They export a lot. Obviously, India, I think they actually recently surpassed China in population, and they export actual, you know, manpower. You know what I mean? They that's why you see so many Elamites over here. I feel like you see more Elamites than you see, gooks over here now. You know what I mean? They're just crossing over in droves. So everybody's benefiting from this place. Um, but it's all set up in wickedness. So it says woe or destruction. All right, that's going to come unto them for that. It says and hast. Oops, did not mean to click that. It says and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers. Okay, basically trying to make themselves appealing to Babylon so they can, benefit from it. All right, it says which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. You see that? So these are the nations like the elder quoted Psalms 83. All right, they're in cahoots with each other, man. Don't think for a second that uh there was a video, I can't remember, it was a while ago. I saw it. I don't know if a brother posted it or whatever. I think it was a Moabite. It was an Asian, one of the Asian nations. They were like acting like an Edomite, like asking them like it was a Jake. I guess he was like in a neighborhood, and it was like a Elamite asking. He could barely really speak English well, like he still had that hard accent, but he was asking Southern Kingdom Jake, hey, like, what are you doing here? Like, you live here, you don't live here, blah blah blah. You're like, but acting like how Edomites, how they be doing that, like that's how Moab was doing,
Acting like
you
Karen.
know? Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? A Moabite Karen. So that's pretty much, these other heathens, man, they have adopted the Edomites mindset. So that's why they're gonna get destroyed too. Any of these heathens that's over here, they're all wicked. Understand that. Any heathen that's still here, okay, because the scriptures say that every man, they're gonna get to their own nation. But any demon that's still here when all hell breaks loose and the MOTB made mandatory here and everything, they deserve to get destroyed. All right, because why the hell would you still want to be here? All right, when you see the evils being increased, talking about the other heathens outside of Edomites, you know. So they're wicked too. All right, it says verse. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say it's just like I said. The heathen gonna go back to their own countries, but they're not gonna escape the judgment because you did all kind of bullshit in Babylon, and they're gonna try to run back home. Nah, you ain't gonna escape neither. That's what I say.
Right.
If you don't get destroyed in the destruction, you going head first into slavery.
That's right. That's
You got
right.
it.
Okay, verse 48. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore, saith the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee. Okay, so again, these other nations following Esau, all right, they're going to follow him to destruction. All right, it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword. All right, because remember, we have World War I and World War II as an example. All right, how both sides took L's. You know what I mean? The Ally and Axis powers, they took L's on both sides, heavy casualties. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be any different with World War III. It's going to be worse than the previous two combined.
Yep. And the
Okay.
Lord letting you know that He's gonna destroy everything that the heathen built up. You know what I'm saying? And that verse right there alone lets you know He finna jack up everything. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
That's why that link it back to Revelation 18. You see, through the Lord destroying Babylon, all this destruction and all this famine, death, all that's gonna follow everybody that was involved. I want to say, look, if you don't make it on them chariots, you are fucked. You
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. That's right, man. It says, let's see where we at. Verse 47. We're at that. We're at verse 48, verse 49. It says, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, uh, to waste thy houses with destruction and death.
All that's gonna be a result. All that's gonna be the result of Babylon the Great being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
All right. It says, verse 50, it says, and the glory, it says, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. All right. the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. They gonna lose it. They gonna lose their power, man. Okay. It says, just like the Assyrians lost their power, the Babylonians eventually lost their power. Every nation eventually waxed weak. You know, the Medo-Persian Empire eventually waxed. Was overcome.
Yep,
Okay,
it's time for the feet on the statue to get destroyed.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, hey, don't get me riled up, Zaquan, because that's Daniel 2:44 all day. I'm gonna just quote it. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah,
love that chapter. Daniel 2:44. Go back and read it. All right. Verse 51. Where we at? Verse 51 is it says, Thou shalt be weakened. Hold on, make sure. Yeah, thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes. Imagine that. A poor old weak little lady that got beaten with stripes. You're gonna
man.
go from a strong man to helpless. Okay. It says, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. See that? These other the what's the word that they have a specific term for it. The love child, all right, of these various different nations getting in bed with Babylon, all right, is gonna be taken away. All right. Basically, these other nations getting together, collaborating, ain't gonna be no more Lexuses. Like that's Toyota. They made Lexus specifically for the American market. Lexus don't exist in other countries, specifically made for America. Same thing with Infinity. That shit don't exist in other countries. They made that for Babylon the Great because we're the greatest. We have the largest consumer. All right, we import the most. Okay, so if you got one of those cars, know that you have a car that's only sold in Babylon,
Shut
made
up,
in Asia.
Honda.
Yeah, oh yeah, Acura. A lot of people don't know that. They think, oh yeah,
Yep.
it's everywhere. Nah,
See,
that
I
shit's
remember.
just.
I would say I remember when the Lexus. You know how on the back on one side of the car they got the brand, then they got the model. I
Mm-hmm.
remember. I remember back in the day when it said Toyota Lexus on the back of the
Mm,
car. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. Now people think
Yeah.
it's like some whole, you know,
Should have got a
you know what I
Camry.
mean? Yeah, I mean that's what you're getting. You're getting that. It's the same chassis, but you might get some more
Yep.
complicated stuff under the hood,
Yep.
But it serves it proves the point. All right.
Yeah, Lexus
Uh,
ain't nothing but a Toyota with cheese.
yeah. That no, I don't want a hamburger. I want a cheeseburger. That's what
Yeah.
you're getting, and it tastes that much better, but it's really the same thing.
Yep.
From the same company. So, again, it says in verse 52, all right, would I with jealousy have so proceeded against thee, saith the Lord, if thou hadst not always slain my chosen, okay, exalting the stroke of thine hands and saying over their dead, when thou hast struck drunken, when thou wast drunken, excuse me, set forth uh, the beauty of thy countenance. All right. So again, I'll read it again. Would I with jealousy have so proceeded against thee, said the Lord, if thou hadst not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands and saying over their dead, when thou was drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. You see that? So basically, the Lord is asking these heathen nations, um, you know, do you think he's gonna do you think he would have destroyed them as bad as he's going to destroy them, okay, if they didn't treat Israel like 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 trash, you know basically that's what happened. Okay, they exalted themselves over the Lord's chosen people. All right, they was drunken. All right, they were drunken with pride, thinking that they could never be taken down, thinking that we were just created to just be servants.
Yeah. Drunken with the blood of the saints.
Yeah, that's why the Lord, bro. That's why the Lord's gonna destroy this place, bro. These devils are proud. And I'm not just only talking about Edomites. Yeah, of course, these Edomites, of course, they're the biggest devil on the planet. All right, but you other nations too. Okay, you other nations, man, y'all are not exempt nor exonerated. Okay, that's why the Lord has these other nations over here. This is
Mhm.
the only nation where you got every nation in one city in a 5 mile radius of the elder house. You got probably almost all the nations in there.
Mhm.
You know, that's not like that when you go to other places of the earth. When you go to, I ain't been to Sudan, but imagining myself there, like it's Hamites there, like or whoever, you know what I mean? You go to Europe, certain places, I mean, yeah, I mean, you got Jake scattered and but like Russia and stuff like that, like it's mostly just one nation.
Right.
You go down, South America, I mean, it may be a little small, a little blend, but you're not seeing heavy populations and cities of other nations just flooding in like how they do with America.
Yeah, that's just like
Okay.
what's that? They got a you know how they got a day in Babylon. They got a day for everything. They got a North
Hmm.
Alaskan what to say? Dang, I can't think of some Heritage Day, but it's like a melting pot of shit that you ain't gonna
Yeah.
find. That's what I said. You ain't finna go to Iraq and see no day for niggas. Ain't no Black
Yeah.
History Month over there. None of that shit.
Hell no. Shoot, even in China, ain't no. I mean,
Yeah, ain't no Black
like,
History over there.
ain't no niggas out there like that, man. You know what
Yeah,
I
ain't
mean?
no
Now you
fucking.
have Jake.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
ain't no gay parades. Yeah, ain't no gay parades and nothing. Gay parades ain't everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
reserved for Babylon.
Yeah. Khan. Yeah, they ain't doing that in the Republic of Congo.
Fuck
A
no.
gay parade. They might execute your ass
I'm telling you,
if you get caught.
them niggas will shove a 40-ounce beer bottle up your ass.
Yeah, after machete and all your fingers off,
I'm telling you,
you know.
burn what's left.
Yeah, con. So yeah, man. But I'm gonna get this precept real quick.
God,
Going into that, what we just read in Second Esdras 15. Really, it applies verses 52 through 54, which is really just one sentence. But this is Isaiah 51 and 21. It says, therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. All right. We're the afflicted ones, so called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, all right, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. All right, I really want brothers and who's taking notes, write this precept down because this ties in directly what we're reading here. All right, the Lord, all right, allowed us to go through, the slavery and the shame and the chastisement and the persecution, all the stuff that niggas today, boast over our great great grandfathers marched so we could vote. All this hell we caught, all right, as a nation, okay, is gonna be paid back, all right, to the nations that dealt it. Okay. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He
that's
that
right.
killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Okay. So verse 23. All right, the Lord said He's gonna take the cup of fury out of our hand, and it says, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down that we may go over. So basically stepping on us spiritually and physically, and literally too, but spiritually treating us like a damn carpet. All right. It says, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. So we're just getting stepped on. Okay. Basically, we're just getting stepped on by these other nations. All right. And the Lord, he's not gonna let that go on forever, man. You see? So that's the point on that. All right. Going back to Second Ezra 15 and 55. All right. It says, the reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Yeah. Psalms 137. When you read it at the beginning of it, talk about that, how the heathen requested that we sing a song, sing one of those songs of Zion, but we're getting taken to Babylon, but it's requested of us sing a song of Zion, like we're supposed to be happy to be in captivity. You see, right? So that's why these nations they gotta pay, man. Okay, it says the reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense. All right, it says like as thou hast done unto my chosen. All right, what is that one? Zechariah 1, the apple of the Lord's eye, right? Or is that chapter 2? Really, it's in both chapters. It says, like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Lord, even so shall the Most High do unto thee, and shall deliver thee unto mischief. Yeah, because Zechariah the first chapter it says that the Lord is very displeased with the heathen that are round about, for he was but a little displeased, and they helped afford the affliction. Okay, and then Zechariah the second chapter talks about how he that touches you touches the apple of the Lord's eye. Are referring to us, as a nation. Like anybody who touches us, who dealt with us wrongly, they're gonna get judged, man, heavily. Okay, and so, yeah, both chapters go into.
Especially the prophets. You got it.
That's right. That's right. Especially the prophets, man. All right. It says verse 57, thy children. So here's the curses. So remember, we went into well, we didn't go into it, excuse me, but it came into mind earlier. Deuteronomy 28. All right. The first 15 verses, all right, 14 verses are going to be blessings, all right, unto us. But guess what? It's going to be curses unto the other nations. The wicked of specifically the wicked of them, you know, they're going to be destroyed, man. All right. So again, uh, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy cities shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. Okay. So that lets you know famine. You know what I mean? All the plagues that went on, because even when Egypt went down, you still had other nations. As the Lord allowed us to infiltrate these other nations when we were going into the land of Canaan. All right, he was going forth and smiting. Matter of fact, what was that with Rahab? I think she spoke about how the other nations feared the Lord. If I'm spelling
Yep.
it right, R-A.
HAB.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay, it happened in this part. Hold on. Let's check it out real quick. Because I don't know where she said it at. Let me see. Let's see here. It came to pass. I want to talk. Maybe that happened after they passed. Let me see. As soon as we heard these things. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Let's see. Behold. And then she said, according to your words. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly where it said it. If it's let me see. I don't know exactly where it said it.
The Lord
Let me
delivered
see.
prayer from Egypt.
Rahab acknowledged the Lord's power.
All right, Joshua 2
miraculous drying and
and
victories over the Amorites, proving Yahweh's supremacy. She
I
confessed
skipped over it.
Israelite spies in Jericho, recorded in Joshua chapter 2.
try 2 verse 9 through 11.
Okay, yeah, I probably skipped over it. Let's see. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the water's the corner.
Con.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Joshua 2, all right, and verse 9. It says, and she said unto the men, I know that the Lord, yeah, this is the point here. All right, it says, I know that the Lord Yahweh hath given you the land, and your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. Okay, you check this out. It says, "For we have heard how Yahweh Bashem Shai dried up the water of the Red Sea for you. All right, when you came out of Egypt, and what you did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed." Okay, all right. So again, the Lord, He ain't playing with these other nations, man. He'll, He's going to put the fear, all right, of His fear in, in these other nations, man. All right, when He judges them. Okay. And so, yeah, it says in verse 11, and as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. All right. So, some of these nations, they're going to see the destruction of, Babylon the Great, and, see the plagues is going to come upon this place. All right. And they're going to bug out. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, they're going to be shook, I'll say. All right, but a lot of them, the proudest of them, who the Lord once destroyed, they're going to be receiving these plagues. All right, it says again, verse 57: "Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword." All right, people are going to be committing, they're going to be unaliving themselves. Right? It says, "Thy cities shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field." Yeah, they're going to be sent off to do um go to war, excuse me. They're gonna get drafted. Yeah, they're gonna get drafted and then get put to death. You know what I mean? They're gonna be dying horrible deaths. Okay. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger and eat their own flesh. Yeah. Some of the nations, they might flee out of their cities. You know what I mean? If the siege, think about it. If there's no food trucks coming to restock the Krogers and the Walmarts, motherfuckers gonna be just wandering around in the city. They're gonna be going out to the rural areas trying to, you know what I mean? And they're gonna die while trying to find food. Okay. They're gonna eat themselves, all right, drink their own blood, eat each other, just for hunger. Okay. Because there's a lot of people here, man. Millions, according to, the shit Esau, he counts every damn body. All right, millions and millions and millions, like Trump, millions and millions, of people, man. Okay, it says, "For very hunger of bread and thirst of water." Shit, when the last time you drank water from a well? If you know what I mean, you can't put that shit on Google Maps. You gotta know where they at.
Man.
You know what I mean? So it says, "Thou as unhappy shall come through." That's why the Lord. That's why the Lord is going to protect His men, man. You know what I mean? He's gonna protect His men. The Lord said, "His servants shall eat." Okay, all right, and we're gonna drink. These other demons, the Lord's gonna let them starve out. Okay. It says, "Thou as unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again." You might pass through, like wandering. I'm trying to think of a movie that exemplifies that.
That's like
I'm kind of,
Amos 5 when they talk about you escape from a lion and there's a bird waiting on your ass. You get
yeah,
away from the bird, it's gonna be a snake that's gonna bite you. It's gonna be so. That's what I said. The Lord is gonna chase these people and hunt them down with terror.
that's it. Perfect. I couldn't have said it better.
It's a fearful
Right?
thing to fall into the hands of the living power.
Ooh, that's a banger. You want to get that one?
Might as well.
Okay, yeah, kind of, because people really gonna,
they gotta see that one and hear it.
they're really gonna know, like you said all the time. Then shall you know that I'm the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrews 10:31. All right, it says, well, I'll start at verse 30. It says, "For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me." You don't think that people eating each other alive and eating themselves and drinking their own blood is gonna be, that's gonna be from the Lord, man. You can't make somebody do that, but the Lord can. You see, you can't make
That's just
somebody
like all
starve to
these
death.
people Elder Monatizak be putting up. The God, what he called a series the God critics. Yeah, all these
Right.
people talk about how stupid the Lord is and talk about he mean and talking all this bullshit. That's what I'm saying. You gonna eat yourself, bitch, and bitch ass nigga.
Mm-hmm.
These people, that's what I'm saying. Everybody ain't gonna repent. 2/3 ain't gonna repent. They gonna keep on talking that shit until they catch this judgment along with the rest of the heathen, because they consider heathen as well. You got it.
It says, I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power.
That's what I'm saying. So after it says the Lord said he gonna start with Israel and work his way out. So ain't nobody gonna get away. That's why I say if you don't get on them chariots, if the Lord didn't set it up for you to get on the chariot, adios. You got
That's
it.
right. All right. It says, that was the point. All right. So there you go. Okay. All right. Hey man, that's why it's the only Israelite only thing, man. Sorry, vocab Malone. Sorry, well, I ain't sorry about them Genesis demons, but you
Oh
know,
man.
anybody
And
who
another thing about that, all these people getting on the comment board and talking all that madness and pray for them and pray for that. Y'all don't have no understanding. You don't understand the Lord's judgment, and it's gonna get worse for them, him and her. You know what I'm saying? Both of they bad decision with friends just making asses. Fuck them. Go ahead.
that's right. All right. It says, verse 58, um, read that already. All right, verse 59, read that. And the breakdown on that again, thou as unhappy shalt come through the sea, um, and receive plagues again. Like basically you passing through one obstacle, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Um, and you still gonna catch hell once you get on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get on the other side, man, that's how you know like the Lord ain't gonna be with you, bro. Yeah, how about Shemi Shai ain't gonna be with you, man?
So you're gonna jump
Okay.
into a backyard with 50 pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be 50 pit bulls waiting on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It says, and in the passage, they shall rush on the idol city and shall destroy some portion of thy land and consume part of thy glory and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. You see? And so basically, man, all of the places that the Lord, all right, wants to get touched because the whole earth isn't going to be destroyed. It's not going to be like you know, it ain't gonna be like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause you hear about this, you're like, dang, is there gonna be any place left? Yeah, there's gonna be some places that don't get destroyed. You know what I mean? Um, but a lot of these places that basically are influenced by Babylon the Great, economically, they gotta go down. Okay. And it says verse 61, and thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire. Okay. So again, the Lord is gonna rise up some entity force, could be Iran, could be whatever, right? To jack up Babylon the Great. Okay. All right. It's gonna jack up Babylon the Great. All right, before the missiles hit. Okay. And um they're gonna be humbled. I'm talking about America. Babylon the Great is gonna be humbled, man. We know it's gonna be infiltrated by troops at one point or another. Okay. We just, we don't know in detail like which nation is gonna be. Like, like it would have been impossible for us to break down second as was the 11th chapter before it actually happened with names and details because it hadn't happened yet. All right, but we know this is what's prophesied to happen. All right. Um, and it says, and shall consume thee and thy cities and thy land and thy mountains and thy woods and thy fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. So again, Babylon's gonna get touched, man. Okay, Babylon's gonna get touched. It says, thy children, all right, shall they carry away captive, and look, what thou hast, they shall spoil it, and mar the beauty of thy face. So you know, it's going to come to a surprise to a lot of people when, you know, foreign enemies, all right, touch this place. That's why I guess we can close it out in Isaiah. What was that? Isaiah 14, right? The virgin. Or is it let's see. Oh, it's Isaiah 47, my bad. Yeah, here we go. All right, this is Isaiah 47:1. All right, it says to come down and sit in the dust. Dust is confusion. They're gonna be looking like, what? How did this happen to us? How did we get here? I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah,
I can
you
hear
thought you
Becky
could make
crying
God
now.
mad. You thought you could make God as mad as you want.
Right.
Was it Yuval Harari, dumbass?
Yeah. Demon. Yeah, he's a straight up demon, tempting the Lord. And no, he's not an American like, you know, resident, but he thinks like well, he's an Edomite, first of all. Probably Amalek specifically, most likely.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He Amalek.
yeah. And you know, so of course, you know, this how they think. Really, Esau, niggas like Trump, they like look up to Amalek. Like that's why, bro, that's why it's like America is the most powerful nation militarily in the earth, and it's like they're following the state of Israel like a puppy. You know what I mean? And Trump's trying to save face, trying to make, but you can't. That's your tribe. I mean, your nation. You got to follow them. Amalek is the head tribe of Esau. So whatever Amalek say, basically, America, they gonna do it. You know, that's just how the Lord got it set up. Okay, so you know, that's why they followed Israel, the state of Israel, into this war and all this stuff. All right, and it's only gonna get. We read it. I think it was 2 lessons ago. The least of the flock shall draw him out. Shall draw them out. Okay, so that's what's, you know, we're seeing that you know, the start of that, and it's gonna culminate into what we're reading and what we just read at the end of 2 Esdras 15. All right, with you know, infiltration of foreign troops here in Babylon the Great. Okay, and then that precept can finish this off in Isaiah 47. All right, it says, "Oh, virgin daughter of Babylon." All right, virgin, it hasn't been touched, it hasn't been infiltrated yet. Okay, it says, "Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." See, they're not gonna be able to. You're not gonna have niggas like Pete Hegseth boasting about, yeah, you know, we're invincible and blah blah blah, quoting scriptures, trying to apply it to themselves. All right, they're gonna be brought down low. Okay, they're gonna be brought down low, man. Okay, verse 3, it says, "Thy naked." I know I skipped verse 2, but I'm just get to the point. "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered; yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." All right, so before the Lord Yahweh returns, he's going to allow these other nations to get, you know, their spoil in of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so we're going to see that. And that's why I said in Daniel 12, man, it's going to be like a day that never was since there was a nation. It's going to be a lot of, yeah, it's going to be a lot of destruction, man. You know, so that was all I had on that was a coin.
Close out.
I know it's the end of the chapter, so yeah, that's all I had on that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and close us out.
Yeah, con. All right, so hey man, Lord willing, Abaratazah. All right, this is edifying lesson. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostle, and that was the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Till next time, Shalom.
Shalom.